The first time I heard her cry, I almost walked away. Not because I didn't care. Because I had spent the last 3 years convincing myself that getting involved in someone else's life only led to heartbreak. But some sounds refuse to let you keep pretending. It was just after 7 on a cold October evening. Rain hammered against the windows of my small house outside Columbus, Ohio, while I unpacked groceries after another 12-hour shift as an electrician. My body ached, my coffee had gone cold, and all I wanted was a quiet night. Then came the crash. A heavy thud echoed from the basement of the house next door, followed by a woman's frustrated voice. "Oh no. Please, not again." I looked through the kitchen window and saw lights flickering in my neighbor's basement. Water reflected against the tiny windows near the foundation. For a full minute I stood there, debating whether to knock. Finally, I grabbed my flashlight and rain jacket. That decision changed both our lives. My name is Ethan Carter. I was 38, divorced, and raising my 10-year-old daughter Lily on weekends after my ex-wife moved 2 hours away. Life had become predictable. Work. Bills. Silence. The woman next door had moved in about 4 months earlier. Her name was Emma Brooks. She always smiled politely while checking her mail but never stayed long enough for conversation. She seemed independent, maybe even guarded. When she opened her front door that night, strands of wet brown hair clung to her face. "Ethan?" "I saw the lights," I said. "Everything okay?" She laughed nervously. "Not even close." She stepped aside. The smell of damp concrete hit me immediately. Water rushed across the basement floor like a shallow river. "I think one of the foundation drains failed," she sighed. "I don't even know where to start." "You have a sump pump?" "It stopped working." I rolled up my sleeves. "Let's take a look." For the next 3 hours we hauled soaked boxes upstairs, carried ruined furniture into the garage, and rented a portable pump from the hardware store before it closed. Neither of us complained. Around midnight, we finally sat on overturned buckets, exhausted. Emma handed me a bottle of water. "You know," she smiled, "most neighbors would have pretended they didn't notice. My dad taught me something." "What?" "If someone asks for help, or clearly needs it, you show up." She looked away. I wish more people believed that. Over the next week I helped repair drywall and replace damaged insulation. Emma insisted on paying. I refused. Instead she baked chocolate chip cookies. "They're terrible," she warned. "They can't be." "They absolutely can." She wasn't kidding. They were somehow burned and undercooked at the same time. I laughed so hard that tears rolled down my face. She threw a kitchen towel at me. "Oh, you're impossible." That was the first genuine laugh either of us had shared in years. Soon helping with the basement turned into evening conversations on the porch. She learned about Lily. I learned about her younger brother serving overseas. She confessed she'd left a stressful corporate career after panic attacks became impossible to ignore. "I thought success was everything," she admitted. Now I just want peace." One Saturday Lily came over for the weekend. Emma waved from her garden. "You must be Lily." Lily looked at me. "Can I help her plant flowers?" I nodded. For 2 hours they dug tiny holes, laughed at crooked rows, and somehow covered themselves in more dirt than flowers. Driving home Sunday evening, Lily smiled from the passenger seat. "Dad?" "Yeah." "I like Miss Emma." "I figured." She smiles with her whole face. Kids notice things adults overlook. Winter arrived early. Snow piled against sidewalks. Emma slipped while carrying groceries one icy afternoon. Before she could stand, I hurried across the yard. "You okay?" "My pride isn't." Her ankle had swollen badly. The emergency room confirmed a sprain. For the next 2 weeks I shoveled her driveway every morning before work. She protested every single time. "You don't have to." "I know. You'll be late." "Probably." "You're stubborn." "So I've been told." She smiled. "So am I." Christmas approached. Emma confessed she planned to spend it alone. "My parents passed away years ago," she said quietly. "My brother can't get leave." I hesitated. "Lily and I make way too much food." She raised an eyebrow. "Is this pity?" "No." "What is it?" "An empty chair shouldn't stay empty if it doesn't have to." She blinked several times before whispering, "I'd like that." That Christmas became one of the happiest I'd experienced since my divorce. Lily convinced Emma to decorate cookies. The frosting ended up on faces instead of cookies. We laughed until midnight. The house didn't feel lonely anymore. It felt alive. Spring storms returned. One evening another heavy rain rolled through town. Emma texted me. "The basement is dry." I laughed. "Best message I've gotten all week." She invited me over to celebrate with pizza. We ate sitting on the basement stairs simply because we could. Halfway through dinner she looked around proudly. "No leaks. Worth every sore muscle." She studied me for a long moment. "What? You never ask for anything." "I don't need anything. Everyone needs something." I didn't answer. Because she was right. Months passed. Neighbors started assuming we were dating. We weren't. At least not officially. Truthfully, fear had settled between us. I worried about another failed relationship. She worried about trusting someone enough to let them stay. Instead, we kept pretending friendship was enough. Sometimes it almost was. One Saturday Lily cornered me while washing dishes. "Dad? You know Emma likes you." I nearly dropped a plate. "What makes you think that?" "She looks at you the way I look at ice cream." "Lily." "What?" "You're 10. I'm observant." She wasn't wrong. Summer arrived with backyard barbecues and neighborhood gatherings. Emma and I volunteered together during a community cleanup after a tornado damaged nearby homes. Watching her comfort frightened families reminded me why I'd admired her from the beginning. She never looked for attention. She simply helped. One elderly man hugged her after we'd finished clearing fallen branches. "You reminded me there are still good people." She cried in the truck on the way home. "I don't deserve that." "Maybe not," I said. "But kindness always comes back." Late August brought another storm. Not nearly as bad as the first one. Still, instinct made me walk next door. Emma opened the door before I knocked. "I knew you'd come." "Basement check?" She laughed. "Come see." We walked downstairs. The floor was perfectly dry. She spread her arms dramatically. "Victory." I applauded. She bowed. Then silence settled between us. Comfortable. Warm. Dangerous. She stood closer than usual. So. You've helped me fix my house. You helped fix mine." She tilted her head. "What does that mean?" I looked around the basement. It stopped being just a house. Her eyes softened. For several long seconds neither of us moved. Then she stepped 1 inch closer. "So let me ask you something." "Okay." Her smile became playful. "Are you trying not to kiss me?" Every intelligent answer disappeared from my brain. She laughed. "I've been waiting 6 months. You could have said something. I thought you weren't interested." I've been terrified. Of me? No. Then what? Losing this. She reached for my hand. You won't lose something by telling the truth. So I finally did. I've been falling in love with you since the night your basement flooded. A tear escaped down her cheek. I started falling in love with you when you refused to let me clean up alone. Then she kissed me. Not dramatically. Not like in the movies. Just two people who had spent months choosing kindness before romance. It felt honest. It felt earned. A year later we stood in that same basement. Except now the walls were freshly painted. Family photos covered one side. Lily had insisted on hanging a framed picture of the three of us holding muddy shovels from the original cleanup. It's where everything started, she said. She was right. During dinner Emma smiled at me across the table. You know what's funny? What? If my basement hadn't leaked, I might never have knocked. She squeezed my hand. Sometimes life's biggest messes become its greatest blessings. I looked around the room. The woman I loved. The daughter laughing over dessert. The home filled with warmth instead of silence. Years earlier I believed protecting my heart meant keeping people at a distance. Instead, all it had done was keep joy outside the door. It took a flooded basement to teach me that love rarely arrives in perfect conditions. Sometimes it shows up wearing muddy boots, carrying a flashlight and asking where to start. And sometimes, after enough small acts of kindness, enough shared laughter, enough quiet evenings and unwavering support, it looks into your eyes with a smile and asks the question you've both been too afraid to say aloud. Are you trying not to kiss me? This time, I never hesitated again.